The following is tape number 14 on the Nectar of Devotion series, given by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti-vedanta Swami Prabhupada, recorded between October 20th and November 14th, 1972, in Vrindavan, India.
Following the footprints of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as enunciated by the six Goswamis, Sirup Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath, Sijiv Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath. So, we have to follow the authorities. We cannot manufacture. There is no need of research work. Simply, if we follow the chalked out path given by the great authorities, that will help us. Yes, gone.
Here is a general description of devotional service given by Sri Rupa Goswami in his Bhakti-rasamrta-sindhu. Previously it has been stated that devotional service can be divided into three categories, namely devotional service in practice, devotional service in ecstasy, and devotional service in pure love of God. Now Sri Rupa Goswami proposes to describe devotional service in practice. Practice means employing our senses in some particular type of work. Therefore, devotional service in practice means utilizing our different sensory organs in service to Krishna. Some of the senses are meant for acquiring knowledge, and some are meant for executing the conclusions of our thinking, willing, and feeling. Thinking, feeling, and willing. So practice means employing both the mind and the senses in practical devotional service. This practice is not for developing something artificial. For example, a child learns or practices to walk. This walking is not unnatural. The walking capacity is there originally in the child, and simply by a little practice, he walks very nicely. Similarly,
Nitya Siddha Krishna Bhakti Sadha Kamuna. Not that by practicing something external, not natural, we become accustomed. That is also sometimes there. But this devotional service, Krishna consciousness, is not that type of practice. It is there already. Nitya Siddha Krishna Bhakti. Sadha Kamuna. Not actually by artificial practice, it is there. Savanadi Shuddha Chitte Karayuda. It is to be awakened. Exactly, just like the child, by nature, he can walk. But still, if some help is offered to the child, he walks very nice. So this practice, Vidhimarga, devotional service, is simply to awaken the dormant Krishna consciousness within the human being. Just like it is happening in our preaching work in the Western countries, these European American boys, they never heard the name of Krishna 4 years ago, but they have taken to Krishna consciousness seriously because it was already dormant in them. It has been simply awakened. By chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, this pure vibration of transcendental sound has enlivened them, and they are awakened to Krishna consciousness. It is not that artificially they have taken. It is sure. Anyone can test how much they have advanced in Krishna consciousness, how they are firmly convinced in Krishna consciousness, because it has been awakened. The nature which was dormant, that has been awakened by, that is the propaganda work of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He wanted that in every town and every village of the world, on the surface of the globe, his name, the preaching of Sankirtan movement, inaugurated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, should be preached. The purpose was the dormant Krishna consciousness is there everywhere. That we are experiencing. Now, in Africa also, who are supposed to be not very advanced in civilization, they are also very nicely taking part in this Krishna consciousness movement. European Americans, they are advanced, civilized people, but even in Africa, we are having very good success. They are becoming Vaishnavas. So, and it is in the Srimad Bhagavatam it is said, Kirata hunanda pulinda pukkasa abhira sambha javanaka sadhaya. So, these Kiratas are the Africans. So they are also becoming interested. Huna Andha and others who are considered to be low-born according to Vedic civilization, but still the Vedic civilization does not prohibit anyone to come to Krishna consciousness. By our karma, we may be high-born or low-born. That does not matter. Ahituki apratihata. Krishna consciousness cannot be checked by any material impediment. That is not possible. Ahituki apratihata. It is natural. And Krishna says, Manhi partha vyapasritya jepishu papajona. He says that even though some people are considered to be papajoni, low-born, it doesn't matter, but he can accept the shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. Prabhavishnave nama. Prabhavishnave nama. Irata hunanda pulinda pukkasabhira summa javanaka sadhaya jennecha papa. Still more low-born than these people. Suddhanti, they can be purified. If they actually take shelter of a pure devotee, they can be purified. That is the injunction of the Shastra, Sukadeva Goswami. Suddhanti, if people may argue how such low-born people can be purified, that reply is Prabhavishnave namo. It is the supreme power of Lord Vishnu. It is possible. Krishna says. Now, Krishna says that everyone can be delivered simply by the process of Krishna consciousness. So whose duty is to enlighten them to Krishna consciousness? I was just talking with Goswami, Harichan Goswami. Whose duty it is to enlighten people to Krishna consciousness? It is the duty of Guru. We came to this conclusion. And who is Guru? Srotriyam Brahmanishta. That means perfectly learned in Vedic literature and firmly convinced in Brahma realization. That means first-class Brahmin. So if the first-class Brahmanas do not take care of this Papa journey, then who will deliver them? Here, some agitation is going on that this movement, Krishna consciousness movement, is killing Hindu religion. You see? Just see their poor fund of knowledge. It is the duty of the first-class Brahmin to enlighten this Papajoni. Otherwise, who will enlighten them? Guru will enlighten. And who is Guru? Srotiram Brahmanishtam. Brahmanishtam means he must be Brahmin. So, if the so-called Brahmins, they do not take care of them, and if they remain Brahmins limited within some limited area, do not go outside, then who will deliver them? So these are not very sound arguments. It is very, what is called, crippled ideas. The Brahmana means Udar. The opposite word of Brahmana is Kripana, who is very miser. A Brahmana cannot be miser. Even 100 years ago, the Brahmanas would give chance to anyone to become Brahmana. I have got so many instances. That is the duty of Brahmana. Pathan. The Brahmana should be learned, and Brahmana should make others learned, other Brahmin. Not that he simply satisfied that he is Brahmana and nobody should become Brahman. No. He should make others Brahman. Just like a big lawyer, he makes his assistants lawyer. A professor, learned professor, he makes others professor. Otherwise it is called Gyanakhal, miser, and the knowledge should be distributed. Any scientist discovers, they distribute it. Similarly, Brahmana should be Udara. Not only he should personally know what is Brahma, but he should distribute the knowledge. Therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Bharat bhumite manusya janma haila jaha. Janma sartha kari karo paropaka. It is the duty of the Brahmanas. Paropaka. And without being human being, how he can become a Brahmana? Cats and dogs cannot become Brahmana. The perfect human being means Brahmana. The first class perfect being. That is Brahmana. And Brahmana's duty is for paropakar. Patana, patana, jajana, jajana, dana, patigra. Satkarma, nipuna, vipra, mantra, tantra, visharada. Avaishnava, guru na sasyat. One who is Vaishnava, just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he becomes guru. Because he is Udar. Vaishnava means paradukha dukhi. Mancha kalpatarubhasya kripasindu bhayavas. Patitanam pavanit. Vaishnava is patitanam pavan. He can deliver all the fallen souls. So, we have become crippled, therefore we are talking this, that this Krishna consciousness movement is killing our Hindu principles. No. It is really, actually, Vedic principle that one should be learned and he should distribute the knowledge for paropakar. That is Brahmanism. Paradukha dukhi, kripam mudijya samaham papadli. Lokanang hitakarinam. These are the statements in this heart. Nana shastra vicharanayika nipino sadharma samastapaka. Lokanang hitakarinam. The Goswamis, they compiled this. Rupa Goswami compiled this Bhakti-rasamrta-sindhu not for the study, a few selected persons. Lokanang hitakarino, for the benefit of the whole human society. And actually that is happening. We have translated this Bhakti-rasamrta-sindhu in English, and we have got the greatest sale of this book. Everyone is picking up. It is a study book in the Temple University of United States. They like it. But it is required. We have got so much treasure house of knowledge. They should be, each and every book should be, at least Vaishnava literature, Bhagavad literature, should be translated into English and distributed all over the world. That is Lokanang Hitakarya, to benefit the whole human society, not to remain crippled within a boundary. That is not Brahmanism, that is not Vaishnava. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Practice means employing our senses in some particular type of work. Therefore, devotional service and practice means utilizing our different sensory organs in service to Krishna. Some of the senses are meant for acquiring knowledge, and some are meant for executing the conclusions of our thinking, feeling, and willing. So practice means employing both the mind and the senses in practical devotional service. This practice is not for developing something artificial. For example, a child learns or practices to walk. This walking is not unnatural. The walking capacity is there originally in the child, and simply by a little practice he walks very nicely. Similarly, devotional service to the Supreme Lord is the natural instinct of every living entity. Even uncivilized men like the Aborigines offer their respectful obeisances to something wonderful exhibited by nature's law. And they appreciate that behind some wonderful exhibition or action there is something supreme. So this consciousness, though lying dormant in those who are materially contaminated, is found in every living entity. And when purified, this is called Krishna consciousness.
So, in the minds of the jungle people, there is obedience to the Supreme. As soon as there is some thunderbolt strike, so they offer obeisances. As soon as they see a big sea, ocean, they offer obeisances. Offering obeisances to the great, that is natural. That is the gradual appreciation of the potency or energy of the Supreme Lord. Because whatever we see, whatever there is, there is nothing but different manifestation of the energy of the Supreme Lord. Parasya Brahmana Shakti. We can appreciate the potencies, the energies of the Supreme Lord. Anyway, as I explained yesterday, the potency is there in the seed. As Krishna says, Bijoham sarvabhutanam. The big banyan tree is concentrated within a small seed, smaller than the mustard seed. There is a potency of a very big tree. There is a story, it is a very instructive story, that Narad Muni was passing to go to Vaikuntha, and on the way one very learned scholar, Brahman, met him, and he inquired from Narad Muni where he was going. Narad Muni said that I am going to see Narayan, my Lord. So the Brahman asked him, "Oh, you are going to meet Narayan, will you kindly inquire for me when I shall be liberated?" Narad Muni said, "Yes, I shall inquire." Similarly, on the way, he met one cobbler. He also inquired Narad Muni where he was going, and he said, "Will you kindly inquire from Lord Narayana when he would be liberated?" So, when Narad Muni met Narayana, so he inquired, because he is saintly person, he promised that such and such Brahmin inquired like this, and the cobbler also inquired like this. So Narayana said, this cobbler will be liberated in this life, and that Brahmana will take some time, some many births. So Narad Muni became astonished that he was a learned scholar and Brahmin, and he would take so much time and the cobbler will be liberated in this life. Oh, what is the reason, sir? So Narayana gave him one needle, and he requested him that when they inquire what Narayan was doing, you can say that Narayan was pulling one elephant through the hole of the needle, this side and that side. So, when he came back, the Brahmana said, "Sir, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you and Narayan. We cannot believe this, that through the needle, or through the hole of a needle, an elephant is being passed this side and that side." And when it was informed to the cobbler, he began to cry. He said, "Oh, my Narayan is so powerful that he can do everything." He believed immediately that yes, for Narayan it is possible to pull the elephant through the hole of the needle, this side and that. So Narad Muni inquired, "How do you believe this?" The other person, the Brahman, his learned person, he did not believe. How do you believe it? What is your conviction? He says, sir, I believe in this way because I am sitting under this tree, this is a banyan tree, and so many, what is called, figs are falling down, and each fig there are thousands of small seeds, and in each seed there is a banyan tree. So if Narayan can keep thousands of banyan trees within this fig fruit, how it is not possible for him to pull an elephant through the hole of a needle? So this is called faith. The faith is not blind. There is proof. He, the cobbler, was not blindly believing that Narayan was pulling an elephant through the hole of a needle. But he sees practically the potency, the power of the Lord, Bijoham Sarva Bhutana, how he keeps all the potencies of the banyan tree within the seed. So otherwise, there is no meaning, all-powerful. He can do whatever he likes, inconceivable. Srila Jiva Goswami therefore explained that unless we believe inconceivable potency of the Lord, then we cannot understand the activities. Parasa Shakti Vividhai Vasyate Savaviki Jnana Vala Kriyasa. We cannot judge how things are happening, but we have to believe. Therefore, Vedic knowledge is so important. We cannot make research, we cannot judge. Simply, if we take the Vedic truth, just like we have several times explained, the Vedas accept the cow dung pure, whereas the stool of other animal is impure. So we have to accept like that. So, Vedavani. Vedavani means you cannot deny it. You cannot argue on it. You have to accept as it is. Therefore, learned scholar, when he speaks something, he gives evidence from the Vedas, Shruti. Shruti Praman. That is the best evidence. Gone?
There are certain prescribed methods for employing our senses and mind in such a way that our dormant consciousness for loving Krishna will be invoked, as much as a child with a little practice can begin to walk.
See, Goswamis, or in the Pancharatra system, in the Shastras, the regulatory principles are so made that if we practice it, gradually our dormant Krishna consciousness will be awakened. Therefore, these prescribed rules and regulations, as it is given in the Shastra and confirmed by the Acharyas, Narottam Das Thakur says, Tadero Charano Sebi. We have to follow the footprints of the Acharyas. Acharya means parampara. One Acharya is following the previous Acharya. A Acharya does not manufacture anything, something novel. He follows the previous Acharya, and therefore he is Acharya, and one who follows Acharyaman Purusha Veda. Acharya Upasanam, in the Bhagavad Gita it says. So we have to accept the principles laid down by the Acharyas. Tadero charana sevi bhakta saneva. Rupa raghu natho pade hoibe akuti kabe ham bujhava se jugalo piriti. Narottam Das Thakur. These are Narottam Das Thakur's versions are accepted as Vedic versions. Shruti Prama. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that the statements of Narottam Das Thakur are as good as Vedic evidences. Therefore we quote from Narottam Das Thakur often. Not only Narottam Das Thakur, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, and the 6 Goswamis, they are authorities. So we have no difficulty. Tadero charana sevi bhakta sanivas. That's all. Let us follow the footprints of the Acharyas, Goswamis, and live together as sincere, serious devotees. Then our life is successful. It is not very difficult. Bhakta sanivas, tadero charana. We should live together as devotees and follow the footprints of the Acharyas. Don't manufacture concoction. Then it will be spoiled. Simply try to follow. They will protect. They will give protection. Because Krishna says, Aham tva sarva papibham mokkhaisara. If we take shelter of the Acharyas, that means we take shelter of Krishna. Jasya prasadad bhagavat prasad. If the Acharya, Guru, is satisfied, then we must know certainly that Krishna is satisfied. Jasya prasadad bhagavat prasad. Acharya mang vijanyat. So, this is the principle, and the Acharyas give us direction. It is not very difficult. Simply we have to become very serious and sincere. Then everything is all right. Gone.
One who has no basic walking capacity cannot walk by practice. Similarly, Krishna consciousness cannot be aroused simply by practice.
Artificially practice Krishna consciousness is not possible. There is Krishna consciousness, Nitya Siddha Krishna Bhakti Sadhaka Guna. It is not by the practice, but following certain methods, just like sex impulse is there already in everyone's heart. When there is opportunity, it becomes awakened. It is not that artificially a dull stone can be awakened in sex impulse. No. In human being or animal living being, there is sex impulse, but it becomes awakened in a favorable circumstance. Similarly, if we keep ourselves in favorable circumstances, that means bhakta sanivas, living with pure devotees without any material desires, then the Vrindavan, they living in Vrindavan, what is the meaning of living? Because bhakta sanivas, here whoever comes, he comes for the purpose of developing devotional attitude, not for any. Here nobody comes for making business or making money. If anyone comes, he makes offense, dham aparad. Dham aparad, it is called, there are many kinds of dham aparad, nam aparad, seva aparad. There are aparad, offenses. That will be described in the Bhakti-rasamrta-sindhu. So, here in Vrindavan Dham, nobody should make any business. Nobody should try to satisfy senses in Vrindavan Dham. Then his living in Vrindavan Dham will be profitable. Of course, anyone living in Vrindavan Dham is fortunate because the Dham itself has its own power. But anukullena krishnanusridam, similarly, if we live in the Dhama in anukul way, favorable way, then our achievement or ultimate success is very easy. If you commit offenses, it will be delayed. But still, anyone, somewhere or other, who is living in Vrindavan, sticking to the dust of Vrindavan, he is certainly benefited. Gone.
Actually, there is no such practice. When we wish to develop our innate capacity for devotional service, there are certain processes which, by our accepting and executing them, will cause that dormant capacity to be invoked. Such practice is called sadhana bhakti.
The practice, following the rules and regulations of Shastra and Acharyas, direction of the spiritual master, that is called sadhana bhakti. That anyone can do, provided he is serious. Ado sadhya tato sadhu sangha ato bhajana kriya. This bhajana kriya means sadhana bhakti. So, if our bhajana kriya is proper and in the line then anartha nivrittisya. Then all the anarthas, unwanted things, bad habits, that will be immediately vanquished. After anartha nivritti, tato nishtha, tato ruchi, tatha shakti, tato bhava. In this way, we shall increase our attitude of devotion and service, ultimately getting shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord.
Every living entity under the spell of material energy is held to be in the abnormal condition of madness. In the Srimad Bhagavatam it is said, generally, the conditioned soul is mad because he is always engaged in activities which are the causes of bondage and suffering. The spirit soul in its original condition is joyful, blissful, eternal, and full of knowledge.
Nunam pramatta kurute vikarma. These materialistic persons, they are mad. Mad. Pisachi paile jano motichhanna hoy. Mayagrasta jiver sai dasha upaja. We, those who are materialistic persons, we are mad after sense gratification. Exactly like a person who is ghostly haunted. He speaks all sorts of nonsense. Similarly, in our material condition, we speak simply all nonsense. Unless we engage our tongue in the talking of Krishna Katha, Vachamsi Vaikuntha Gunanuvarnane. Unless we engage our tongue in describing about the glories of Vaikuntha, Vaikuntha means the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then we shall be talking politics and other nonsense and waste our time. Just like the frog is crowing. That means Dhyuvhasati Dadurikeva. In the Bhagavad it is said that we have got tongue, but if we don't use the tongue for Krishna Seva, Sevanmukhi hi jivhado. Our devotional service begins from the tongue. People will ask, how service begins from the tongue? Yes. Sevanmukhi hi jivhado sameva spurattada. So the tongue is very good instrument for developing devotional service. If we don't use this tongue in devotional service, then it is compared with the tongue of the frog. Jivha dadurikeva. Why my tongue is so nice? Why it is compared with the tongue of a frog? Because the frog crowing, that means inviting the snake. The snake cannot see where is the frog, but by hearing the sound, crowing sound, this snake can understand, here is my food. So his crowing sound will be stopped as soon as it is swallowed up by the snake. Similarly, we have got this tongue, human body. It is not the cat's tongue or dog's tongue or tiger's tongue or hog's tongue. It is the human being tongue. So this should be engaged for Krishna's service by chanting Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. The tongue is being used and tasting Krishna Prasadam. If we do not read any Shastra, if you simply chant Hare Krishna mantra, the tongue is, and simply we do not eat anything which is not offered to Krishna. If we take this vow that my tongue should be used only for Krishna, by chanting Hare Krishna mantra and chanting, when I become hungry, I take some little prasadam. Actually, that was the original process of Paramahansas, Goswamis. They used to Krishna Kirtana Gana Nattana Paro. Their tongue was always used for Krishna Kirtana. Krishna Kirtana Gana Nattana Paro. Premamritam Nidhi. Dhira Dhira Jana Priyo Priyakaro Nirmasaro Pujido. Sri Chaitanya Kripa Bharo. Bhuvi Bhava Bhara Hantarako. Bande Rupa Sanatana Ragjugo. Sri Jiva Gopal. So, the Goswamis used to spend their time by using Haridas Thakur, Haridas Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur. He was using his tongue. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Very simple thing. But it is difficult also. So gradually, we should not imitate, but follow the footprints of great saintly persons, acharyas, and then gradually we shall practice Tadero Charana Sevi, Bhakta Saneva. This society, Krishna Consciousness Society, is made just to create some devotees, so that people, by the association of the devotees and following the footprints of the Goswamis, they will be automatically elevated to the transcendental platform. This is the meaning of Krishna Consciousness Society. It is not a joint mess that you bring something, I bring something, and let us cook together and eat and sleep. It is not that society. We should always be engaged. Always we shall use our tongue. So, Tadero Charana Sevi Bhakti, it is a very important passage given by Narottam Das Thakur. Tadero Charana Sevi. Our business should be how to execute the orders of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Goswamis, the Saragoswami, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Prithivite ache jato nagaradi gram, sarvatra prachar haive manna. He wanted that human being, those who have taken birth as a human being in India, they should take the cause, the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and spread all over the world. Janma sarthak kari karo paropoka. The India is made for doing good to others. India is not meant for exploiting others. That is not India's mission, from the very beginning. From long, long distant place, people used to come here to learn a spiritual advancement of life. It is said that Lord Jesus Christ also came here, and he lived here for 12 years. Similarly, many Chinese scholars and transcendentalists used to come. So, India is a land of knowledge and culture, especially spiritual knowledge, since very, very long time. So especially those who are born in India, they should take advantage of the privilege. Unfortunately, they are criticizing the foreigners, those who have taken to it. They are suspecting. It is very, very regrettable fact. But anyway, that is the way, that is the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that those who are intelligent person, intelligent Indians, they should take advantage of the gifts of the great sages and saintly persons, make their life successful, and preach the cult all over the world. That is the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Our Krishna consciousness movement is meant for that purpose. Go on.
Only by his implication in material activities has he become miserable, temporary, and full of ignorance. This is due to vikarma. Vikarma means actions which should not be done. Therefore we must practice sadhana bhakti, which means to offer mangalarachaka, deity worship, in the morning, to refrain from certain material activities, to offer obeisances to the spiritual master, and to follow many other rules and regulations which will be discussed here one after another. These practices will help one to become cured of madness. As a man's mental disease is cured by the directions of a psychiatrist, so this sadhana bhakti cures the conditioned soul of his madness under the spell of Maya, material illusion.
So, as they are mentioned, the first principle is that every devotee must try to rise early in the morning. That is first business. This practice should be done first. No one should sleep more than 6 hours. Or if you want to sleep more, but you must rise early in the morning at 4 o'clock. Attend the Arati, Mangalarati. Mangalarati means auspicious beginning of your day. If you stand before Mangalarati. In Vrindavan, you see, every temple, as soon as there is 4 o'clock, the ding-dong bell immediately begins. People can rise early in the morning, take bath in the Jamuna, and visit the deities in the temple. There is no necessity of passing MA examination and taking BA degree for devotional service. Simply, you have to follow the regulatory principle. Then automatically, you will become spiritualized. Very simple method. Vrindavan is specially meant for that purpose. Why people come to Vrindavan? To take the advantage. Here the atmosphere is surcharged with devotion and service. We should take advantage of it. This is called sadhana bhakti. Sadhana. Sadhana bhakti means you have to practice it. And it does not require much education. It does not depend on your riches, that you have to become a very rich man to follow the regulatory principle to rise early in the morning. Anyone can rise. It is simply practice. You can take bath in the Jamuna. It is simply practice. You can visit the temples early in the morning. It is simply practice. So, this is called sadhana bhakti. Practicing. Go on.